then convergente anarchy, the one-layer nation that employ on the unresident of the event.
What does it take to break away from the crowd? And why do so many of us struggle to do it? In this episode of DKLA Pirate Radio, we welcome Urmi Hossain, a passionate advocate for financial literacy, champion for girls and women, and an unapologetically pink-clad powerhouse. An immigrant, professional, and self-described solo traveler through societal norms, Urmi brings sharp insight into the ways herd behavior shapes our lives, often without us even realizing it. Whether in money, career, or personal growth, is it possible to opt out of the script we've been handed? Today, Urmi shows us how. Today we are with Urmi. Please introduce yourself.
Yes, it will be my pleasure. My name is Urmi. I am based in Montreal. I work in the financial sector, but I also have a lot of side projects. I am a self-published author, speaker, blogger, mentor, and advocate of women's empowerment. I am part of an organization called Women in Leadership as the social media lead.
Oh, that's great to hear. And where can our listeners connect with you online?
Yes, I have my YouTube channel called Urmi Hossain. I have a LinkedIn profile called Urmi Hossain. I have my Instagram account called Urma Mio, and I have my blog called My Ways Thoughts.
Great. So let's dive right into our conversation. To start, could you tell us a little bit about your personal experiences?
Well, my experience is I am a third culture kid. So I was born and raised in Italy. My parents are from Bangladesh, and basically I have written a book about my journey in Italy, how it was for me to be a third culture kid, grow up in a South Asian household while also living in a very Western society. And I've been living in Montreal for quite some time, and I would say that my experience in Montreal has helped me to find my identity, who I am as a person, who I am from a cultural point of view. And I basically have been working and living in Montreal for a while now.
Thanks a lot. So, do you know the concept of herd behavior? I mean, it's like fear of missing out. But we are talking about it because let me explain why I chose this theme. You know, last year there was a movie that shaked the heads of many girls and women, the Barbie movie. And well, everything was pink around, and even people you never seen dressed in pink were looking like dolls. But when the this wave was over, I haven't seen many people wearing too much pink. Only the ones who love, including me. You can see the color of my headphones. But uh, I'm really intrigued by herd behavior and people who follow uh, the same fashion for a long time, huh? For a long time. And the question is about it. What's your opinion on this behavior of herd behavior in the context of society and culture pressures? How have you observed this phenomenon affecting girls and women in particular? And do you think it's a good or a bad trend?
You're talking about hard behavior?
Yes.
Do you mind exploring a little bit about what you mean by hard behavior? I'm assuming you're talking about like basically how the society wants women to be and what the expectations are.
Yes.
Definitely, I do think that some of these cultural norms are very, very limiting in the sense that there is an idea of what women should be and what girls should be and what role they play in the society. And I do think that some of these ideas or some of these norms, they do have a negative impact and consequences, not just for the women and the girls themselves, but also on the society. Because if we talk about all these like cultural expectations, societal expectations, it doesn't work like that. I think as a woman, we all have a place in the society, and it doesn't necessarily need to be the role of, being a mother or being just a caregiver and a housewife. But I think there is an expectation that a lot of the times women are just that. And I think it's really well depicted in the movie Barbie. And I also very much enjoyed the movie Barbie, the movie Barbie, because you can see the society basically led by women, but then men interferes and then everything changes. And I think the movie Barbie, it just gives you a different perspective and also it tells you about what the harsh reality is of the society, especially when there was that monologue by America Ferrara, where she talks about what society expects us to be, but we cannot have it all figured out. And unfortunately, that it is the reality. It is the reality. And I think we as women, we're going forward and changing that.
Well, it's really interesting, your answer. And well, the movie just sparked this herd behavior. Sorry for the mispronunciation. In me, just because I really get intrigued by fashions and some kinds of fashions and how some people follow trends against their nature. I remember looking at older women wearing pink and acting like dolls just to watch the movie. The movie has nothing to do with it, but the noise around the movie intrigued me. It was just because of it. But nowadays there are many trends from social media that are dangerous for women, in my opinion. And I really agree with you when you say we all have a place. And you mentioned that you share personal stories to empower others, isn't it?
I do.
Could you share an experience where you felt pressured to follow the herd and how you navigated that situation?
I always had those kind of challenges since I was a girl. I would say, there was an expectation of me to follow a certain I want to say a certain path and a certain, the conventional way of things, but I never did, honestly. And it's always hard when you try to break the cycle. It's always really hard when you try to do something that is different, not accepted, something that is new also for the society. But I do like to think that every woman should follow their path. I think a lot of expectation that you get is not just from the society, but it's also from the people that are close to you, sometimes from your own parents who have a certain expectation of what your life should be, on what career you should take, on your relationship with people. I think it's really about doing what's best for you, even though it's really hard. But I think you can only bring change if you are being the cycle breaker. So for me, it's been a continuous journey and challenge, but I think it's the only way that I was able to educate people around me, like if there are, like, for instance, like the path that I am pursuing right now, like working in finance, studying in finance, living abroad, like it's a completely different path than what people would have expected. So yeah, that has been my journey.
Awesome. I think cycle breaker is also part of my life. And last season, I discussed it with one of my guests about tradition breaking because he is from a very traditional family.
Yeah.
and he wanted to be an entrepreneur. And it's my case too. My family is not what we call traditional, but there are many. They are very conservative. Some of my father family is Protestant, and some of military. It's not the kind of family who accepts uh, a woman who decides to be an entrepreneur, an artist,
Yeah.
and here I am following my heart, basically what I
Yeah.
want.
That's nice. That's really nice.
Let's talk about books and any other resource. Are there any books that have significantly influenced your views on individual empowerment, and how did they impact your approach to life and career?
You know, that's always a tough question because every time I
Oh,
ask about
really?
books, I can never like narrow it down to one specific book because I just read way too many books. And so if you ask me to choose one, it's like I find it super, super challenging.
Okay, like
And
what?
there's oh my God, there's so many that I have read, but I can mention definitely the ones that I enjoyed the most that I think people will find beneficial. I read Atomic Habits by James Clear, and it's an incredible book for anyone who wants to basically work on their habits and be able to achieve their goals by taking small actions. That was a great book. It's super easy to read and it gives you like actionable tips. I also very much enjoyed the book called The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. So basically it's a super great book. So it gives you like all these seven habits that make you like an incredible person. Like he talks about productivity, he talks about how you should be continue learning. So it gives you all these things to shape you as a very complete person, and these are some of the skills that you need in order to basically be a complete and confident person. That's also a very, very good book. And then I read a book about Ikigai. I don't remember the full name of this book, but it was talking about Ikigai purposely. And it talks about this whole concept of Ikigai. So it illustrates the concept, it explains it to a diagram, what it means and how you can live your life with full passion and purpose and live a fulfilled and satisfied life. And it's a great book because it has all these examples from this community that live in Japan, in this small island in Japan, and how with these little things that they do, like gardening, sewing, going on a bike, walking, they're able to have a very fulfilled and relaxed and happy life. So basically, that book is just talk about how you can have a happy life. So those are the three ones that have, I would say, changed my perspective, but also helped me to be a better person.
That's wonderful. And I'll try to find this one, Atomic Habits.
Habit, yeah.
Oh, I really enjoy reading, and to me, it's the same. It's hard to find one book that influences me. I will always read something that inspires me, and it will change through time. What advice do you give to young women who are just starting their careers and feel overwhelmed by societal expectations? And how can they stay true to their own goals and values?
I have two advice for the younger generation, and that's also an advice that I would give to my younger self. And those are, first, you want to stay true to yourself. And the reason why I say that, it's because especially when you're young, you are expected to fit a role, to perform a role. And often you do this because you want to be part of a group. You want to feel accepted. You want to feel validated. But I think in a way, when you do that, you're betraying yourself because you're not following your heart and you're not basically meeting your needs and your wants. And I think especially when you start your career, one of the most important things that you want to do is be yourself and stay true to yourself. And the second advice is, when you work in a corporate world, often you'll be basically, people will take advantage of you. You might, you'll be told a lot of things, and often in times you might not like some of the things. But I think it's your job to stand up for yourself, because no one will support you. No one will encourage you. No one will advocate for you but yourself. So you always have to make sure that you are standing up for yourself, for the things that matter to you, for the values that you have. And it's only in this way that you will be able to move forward in the corporate world. And so those are my two advice that I have.
It's a great piece of advice. And the next question is about self-improvement strategies. What are some practical self-improvement strategies you recommend for women who want to break free from these expectations and pursue their unique paths?
Okay, if you talk about practical tips, I do think it starts from one place, and that is education. When I mean by education, I talk about reading books, because I think when it comes to achieving goals, pursuing your ambitions, you want to start from someone, and often you do not know where to start. And I think one way to do it, like in a self-sufficient manner, is by reading books. And there's so many books out there about self-development, self-growth that you can purchase. Like even the ones that I mentioned, I think they're a good starting point. The second thing is to be surrounded by the right people. And by that, I mean like having people that support you, that basically they want you to thrive, they want you to succeed. And I think that's important, because often we are surrounded by people who just want us to fail, because that's how it is. The society feel happy when someone fails. And I think you need people that are there to cheer for you. So the right circle of friends is super, super important, because you can honestly speak about your friends. You can have open dialogues about the things that you want to achieve. And the third thing is to have mentors. And I am a big advocate of mentorship. And the reason why I say that is because I am here in my journey, like my life journey or my career journey, because of the mentors that I had throughout my life. And a lot of my mentors were my friends. I also had coworkers who were my mentors. My managers were my mentors. My colleagues were my mentors. And I think it's important to get something from each of these people that you meet along the way, because you always get a lesson from them, like a life lesson. You learn about their own experiences. And I think they are our greatest guide when it comes to achieving our growth. So definitely having mentors is super crucial, because a mentor is there to advocate for you. So you can honestly speak about a mentor about the things you want to do, and I know they can give you a valuable insight about what you want to get out of life.
Amazing. I completely agree about mentorship. When I did my professional transition, I had a mentor. It was my father's friend, and she's a great singer and actress, and she brought me to the creative world, and I'm really grateful to her, because I thought I wouldn't survive to it. But in fact, I can't imagine myself outside this world anymore. And be surrounded by supportive people, indeed, is a great piece of advice. I faced some abusive situations when I was a child, and even recently, unfortunately, I found some people who wanted to bully me or try to treat me in a not so friendly way. And my capacity of distinguishing who are the supportive people and who are not were really important to see who I wanted to keep in my life or who I didn't want. That's a great piece of advice. Well, I know you are from the financial empowerment field, isn't it? Financial independence is a key aspect of empowerment. What are some tips you offer to women to help them achieve and maintain financial security? So let's talk about your go-to strategy of staying motivated. Do you have one?
I do have one. Actually have more than one. And basically, one of the things that I usually do each year is I create a vision board, and I have like a goals, I set up my SMART goals, and like I do those two things, and then I do that at the beginning of the year. Then throughout the year, what I do is I do a weekly to-do list of the things I want to do. but everything that I do is always connected to my vision board and my SMART goal that I have set at the beginning of the year. And the thing that I do is I make myself accountable. Like I feel like when I'm not working towards those goals, I'm betraying myself. And because I am someone who's very responsible and who's very disciplined, I always stay accountable by writing down, like on my weekly to-do list, the things that I have to do. And I have scheduled the time on my calendar for the things that I want to achieve. So for instance, like the fact that one of the things that I've been working on is improving my Spanish. So I put on my calendar, on Google Calendar, that at this time, on this day, I have to do a little bit of Spanish. And let's say when I lose track of it, or let's say I'm not, like there is a day where I'm like not feeling, where I don't feel like doing anything, or, like I'm, let's say, slacking a little bit. In those times, basically, I always go back and remember my why I started this, the reason why I want to work on this. And so I always go back to my vision board. I always go back to my SMART goals. So that's how I stay motivated, accountable, responsible for my actions.
Amazing. It's me with French. I have a goal. It's not a dream to go to the to the town you are currently and study graphic. So I did some proficiency exams before the pandemic, and now they expired. So I'm counting on many willpower to restart everything from scratch. It's not easy, but I have a strategy to find online communities. They are very supportive. They really help us going back to track.
Yes, I agree.
So let me see. I think it will be our last question for this round. I found. No, it's not that. What's a surprising fact about you that most people don't know?
I don't think I have anything surprising, honestly.
Really?
I actually don't think so. I was asked this question twice this week, and I was like, I don't think I have any surprising factor. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I'm that interesting then.
Oh, your life is an open book then.
I think my life is an open book. You're right. Yes.
What inspires you to do what you do or keep doing what you're doing?
I think it's the people that I connect with that help me to do what I do every day. And I think a lot of it is the connection that I have done with a lot of my mentees. These are young women who want to study and work in finance, and it's been beautiful to see their transformation and evolution. It's been beautiful to see how confident they have become, and I appreciate that that they come to me for advice. So the fact that they come to me, it just shows that some of the work that I'm doing is actually very valuable. So that helps me to, to keep doing the things that I do right now.
Awesome. So we go back after the break. Today we are back and we are back with Urmi. So the first question, what's your favorite book? I think we already talked about it. If you could give one piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be?
I would say that, well, there are so many pieces of advice that I could give to my younger self, but one that I would probably like to give at this moment is to always pick up, because when I was a kid, I usually used to follow what I was being told to without questioning too much what people were telling me. But I was never doing things that were serving my purpose, my needs, my wants. And it is something that I had learned throughout the years as I grew up, as I became much older, I matured. And so this is something that I'm doing right now, but I think I should have started a bit earlier. So this would be the advice that I would give to my younger self, but also to the younger generation out there, is to always speak up. If there are things that matter to you, if there are things that you want to do, and it's only this way that you will be able to become bolder, unapologetic, set up your boundaries. So it's important to speak up. Yeah.
That's a great piece of advice, for sure. And what's a surprising fact about you that most people don't know?
So I would say surprising and also sad. It's the fact that so I do like to grow plants. and I like to have plants, like little plants.
Oh, nice.
But the problem is I'm not good at keeping them alive. And so
Oh,
I do have a tendency to kill them, which makes me really upset because I look like every time I go to a store and I see a plant, I want to buy it, but I also know that I'm actually a killer. And so I don't buy them. So now I bought a new one, which is sort of like a cactus. I know that I don't have to water it too much, but usually when it comes to having plants, I'm really bad. I'm just not good at taking care of them.
me too. I'm not so good at growing plants. I killed many of them, but I try.
Yeah.
We must
So
try.
yeah, exactly. I don't think there is anything that they actually misunderstand about my work. I would say it's more about me, what people misunderstand.
Okay,
Like
so
the misunderstanding that comes about me is that people think that I am very demanding, but honestly, I am a very simple girl. Like I don't need much to be happy. Like people usually like they want to receive fancy gifts or they want to do fancy things. I'm not that kind of person. Like I like being simple, and I do love the simplicity in things, like a message or very simple things like a nice dinner, cooking for someone. Like these are the things that I very much appreciate in life. It really the little things that I very much appreciate when people like think about little things and they give it to me. I do appreciate those things, the little gestures. And so I'm really not demanding, but I do get misunderstood because people think I'm very demanding, that I need a lot of things, but I don't. I don't actually, because I can have pretty much everything. It's just the people's presence, time. These are the things that matter to me the most.
That's great. I think the best things in life, they are for free. It's really nice to have a walk and look at the nature, trees,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
the sky. I think
Yeah.
are the best spectacles in the world.
Yeah. Exactly.
And our next question, what has been going on in your life recently that you expected and didn't expect? Two things you expected and it was great. Two good things.
It's a good question, and I don't have an actual direct answer. Like I do have an answer, but it's not something that was expected and it did not happen. So the thing that I've been expecting a lot this year is traveling, but I didn't realize how many times I was actually getting on a plane until I booked all my tickets and I realized I am living on a plane. And so this year has been really the year where I'm just packing, getting on a plane, unpacking, repacking. And so it's a bit hectic. I do have to say it's a bit hectic. Like with this whole traveling lifestyle, it's very hectic, but I'm very much enjoying it because like in every trip, I'm getting like a lot of good things out of it. And I just had recently a high school reunion. And so that was so much fun. Like it was so much fun. It was like back in 2005 when I used to be a teenager. And so re-seeing all of my friends, it was a nice experience. So it's expected. And I can say it was unexpectedly a happy experience. There you go.
Oh, we must have almost the same age because in 2005 I was still a teenager too.
So there you go.
What is the hardest challenge you've had to overcome in your life?
Definitely moving to Canada was a hard challenge for me because it was a new land, a new country. I didn't know anyone. I wasn't even speaking the language I was speaking back home. So that was quite of a challenge, especially because when I moved for the first time in Canada, it was really cold. I remember it was like freezing. I experienced my minus 40 for the first time. I was like, I'm never gonna survive the winter. And every year, winter it has been the same experience. I always tell myself, I don't know how I managed to survive every single winter, but it was like a shock for me. The weather was the biggest shock. But that was a big challenge for me because it was almost like I had to start from scratch. And I did start from scratch because, I had to go to university, make new friends, network with people, build my own life. So that was a challenge, but it was surprisingly a very nice challenge because I feel like I got to explore myself a little bit more, understand who I am. I got to evolve as a person as well. So I am the person that I am today because of all these experiences and my choice of moving to Canada.
Awesome. Well, I hope to restart my life in other country
Yeah.
like you. Oh, I don't know if you remember, but I was trying to go to Canada since 2019, and then the pandemic came,
Oh,
and I had to restart from scratch. I think we must keep the hope and dreams in our life. It makes us stronger, and I
yeah.
didn't stop. I have no reasons to stop.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
And the next question, what motivates you to get up in the morning? Are you driven by relationships? You said you don't, not driven by money, but money, success, yes.
No. For me, it's really like I'm driven by my accomplishment, like what I can do, what I have done so far. Definitely, like when I go to sleep, I cannot wait to wake up. I do like to do a lot of things, and the things that I do, they really keep me motivated. So, the fact that I have a blog keeps me motivated, my YouTube channel, like the fact that I can, complete all of these things in advance is what keeps me going. So I do get very motivated by that. Like I do like the challenge that the new day has for me, because that's the only way that I'm able to improve myself.
That's great. I'm a fellow blogger too. I blog for a
Ah,
long, long time.
nice.
Well, and this podcast, it came from the blog.
Blog.
I started blogging, and then I had the idea of sharing more of my creative side. And well, 10 years ago, podcasting was just interviewing people, but I started solo from scratch, and it was a great experience. I think I would do it again
Yeah,
and again and again.
yeah, I can imagine. Yes, life would be boring without books.
Right. Yeah, I remember from the first part, you are a book lover,
I
and me
am.
too.
I am.
I
I am a book lover. I am.
My earliest memories of my life are always at my grandma's house, reading her books from her personal library. It was really good.
Yeah.
So, if someone could play you in a movie about your life, who would be this person?
If someone could like as a celebrity, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I would just
Oh,
tell you I can only play that part. It would only be me. And I wanna like I wouldn't want anyone to play my life. I wanna be the one playing my life. I think that's how I would want people to know about me and my story.
all right. And the next one, what's your favorite way to unwind a busy day?
So I do like to work out. That's something that I do very much enjoy. I like to do intense workout. I also like to go for a walk. I like to also run. That's something that I very, very much enjoy. And I've been also doing for the past couple of months boxing as well. So that's another thing that I do very much enjoy doing.
Nice. I think they are the best way to distress, especially walking
Yeah.
and running at uh, uh, at the nature. It's
Yeah.
a natural place.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And uh, would you rather spend 1 year at the North Pole or 2 years in the Sahara Desert?
I would say probably 1 year in, no, I don't know. You know what? I'm just gonna say 1 year in the North Pole, but that just because I'm used to living like in the cold weather. Because in the desert, I don't know, you have like animals, insects around. I don't like those. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Need water. What if there is no water? No, no, no.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with you. I prefer the cold weather too. Deserts and the dry air. It's also annoying sometimes. And what do you think about the phrase "You're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with"?
I agree. I agree with that. I actually have read that in a book as well. I don't remember which book, but I think it was probably in Atomic Habits by James Clear. He talks about it. He talks about how to build habits. And I think one of the things he mentioned is that like you are the average of the five people that you spend most of the time with. So that's why I always say, like, if you want to improve yourself as a person, choose carefully and wisely the people you want to spend time with, because you're going to start imitating their behaviors. And so let's say you want to, I don't know, become a millionaire, just be surrounded by millionaires. Maybe one day you'll become a millionaire too.
You are right. I think when I was surrounded by people who disencouraged me to do stuff, even if we are some resilient people, it's really hard not to listen to their voices. They are always there saying you are not the person you think you are. So I think it's great. And the next one is also from a book. I think you heard about the book, The 5 Love Languages.
I actually just bought that book. I actually just bought it. Yeah, I bought that book, and I know about the whole concept, because every person has a different way of showing love. There are those that like affirmations. There are those that like, I think, actual like gifts. So I know about the concept. I know very much about the concept.
Okay, so what's your love language? Words of affirmation, physical touch, gifts, acts of service, or quality time?
I think mine, well, if I don't remember what came out, because I did a survey, like I actually did like a survey, and like there was the result that came out, but if I don't remember what the result was, but I think like if I have to choose for myself, I would say it's quality time.
Yeah, me too. But I must say, my love language has changed through time.
Through time?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because I made the test a couple of years ago, and the result was gifts and words of affirmation.
Okay.
And after terrible episodes happened on my life, I mean, I almost lost my mother because of a car accident. I had to take care of her for 8 months, and I think I do it every time I need because it's a act of gratitude.
Yeah.
She was always a great person with me. Why shouldn't I help her in the time she needs? And I made the test again, and the result was quality time.
There you go.
So I didn't even know it was possible, but now I understand. When you almost lose someone you love, you tend to give more value to the time you spend with them. And let's go. Who has made the most influence in your life?
I would say it was really the people around me. Like I do have very close friends, and they have been a great influence in my life. They have been, a lot of them, my inspiration, my true inspiration. And so that's why I said before, choose carefully the people you want to be surrounded with, because some of them, they are really a true inspiration for you. So for me, it was that. And definitely also like some celebrities out there that are making changes and making bold moves, changing the world. That also has been also influential for me. Like I do very much like Meghan Markle. I do think that she does a lot of humanitarian work, and some of the things that I do right now, it's because of her.
Nice. Well, this question is a kind of survey I do with all my guests, and the answers are really impressive. Oh, I like to tell each guest what the others answered, because it was really interesting. Say almost 80% of the guests answered my parents or my family. They always get influenced by family. And around 20% say my friends or my significant other or I don't know, people around them. They tell this. The community power influence them, and I agree. And 5% have some interesting answers. Some of them say my children, some of them say my birds, some of them say nature. And it's interesting because not necessarily a person influences us, but also the nature, the animals, they
Yeah,
influence
definitely. Yes.
behaviors and thoughts and everything else. And if, oh, this one would be, it is nice. If your life was a novel, what title would it be?
If I think about writing a biography, oh, that's a good one. I usually ask this to people, but I never thought about it for myself. Oh, man.
Oh, but do you have an idea of the genre? It would be adventure or romantic or historical.
It would definitely be adventurous, but I wouldn't like I don't know if I can't think of an actual title right now that would like depict that kind of storyline. I would like I right now I think of Lara Croft. That's a kind of book that I would like to like write about. So because I see she's very adventurous, she likes to explore things. So it'll be along those lines. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard. Since I was a child, I have an idea of writing my own biography. I just need to live a bit more to have I think, a 500-page book.
Yeah. It's I don't know, because when you think about like writing a book or even a movie, you always wonder what would be a nice title that tells your story, who tells who you are. But it's always hard to come up with just few words that actually, embody that whole like your whole life. It's like there are some people that, you just use few words and that's them. But for me, like I would have to think a little bit more to come up with some words that actually represent me.
I see. That's why many people, when they write, when they want to write their biographies, they hire someone else because it's easier for someone else to watch our daily life and ask some questions.
Yeah, for sure.
And the next one, if you had the attention of the whole world for 5 minutes, what would you say?
Okay, this is because it's coming from a book that I'm reading right now, which is called Invisible Woman. The book talks about how the world is by default made for men. And it is true. Unfortunately, it is true. I think everything that we do is always by default for men. We always, like, the world is biased. And so I would probably talk about this, I would probably talk about this topic, and my message would be really like, let's remove the biases. Let's have a more equal world where also women are included. And let's not build or do things just for the sake of let's not do things just because it has been taught this way, just because the world has been run by men. I think we have to start thinking about the world being more like 50-50 and to take that into consideration, because in this book, the author talks about how, the transportation system or the bathroom system, like everything is always made by default for men, but we don't think about women. So a lot of the times women are like in danger, or even like the gender pay gap, like men are paid much more than women. So this would be some things that I would like to talk about, because as women we already know about these things, but I don't think our male counterparts are aware of all these issues, because since it doesn't touch them, they don't care too much about it. And so we need to educate them, and we need to spread more of this kind of message.
Amazing. I couldn't agree more. And I would say respect mental health.
Yeah, for
because,
sure.
because sometimes I hear from other people that succeeded people, even succeeded women, must act like men. And this is not true. We have we are different beings and we have our own nature. We must respect this. And if we act like women, if we embrace our feminine side, it doesn't mean we are a failure. And many people around the world still try to tell us we are failure just because we act like women. And our mental health matters in this time. We must be resilient.
Yeah, exactly.
And the second last question, where would you never visit, even if you were paid $1 million?
Nah, You know what? I think I would like to visit every single country, every single place, because I think every place has something to offer. And I like every single country is like unique and original in its own way. And I think when you have a chance to visit a country, you have an opportunity to learn. And traveling is a learning opportunity. So I think that when we do these things like visiting countries, we always have to go with an open minded and remove all these biases that we have towards certain countries, because I think what we see on TV, it's not always 100% accurate or true. So I would honestly visit every single place. Like I'm not against any single, like anything in particular.
If your life is an adventure, I
Yeah,
bet.
exactly.
But something you said just reminded me of a period I studied humanitarian law, and I learned that many things they are manipulated by a group of people just to get some attention from the other parts of the world. And they just show people from the poorest places suffering from famine and many other diseases, but they don't show them after getting
Right.
helped by some organizations. And well, my professor back that time, she was working at Doctors Without Borders. Well, I help this organization since I learned what they do. It's a beautiful work indeed. And they show the scenes of the community throwing a party with the doctors and so on after the work is done. It's a beautiful moment, and I think we should get more conscious of it.
Yeah, I agree. I do very much, well, there are so many things that I do actually. Like I do reading, I do writing, I do like writing, I do like reading. I do like baking as well. It's just something that I have started during pandemic. And one of the things I very much enjoy is trying new pasta recipes. So that's like when I make pasta, I put so much love into it, like you don't understand. So that's one thing that I do very much enjoy. That's like one of my hobbies is to always like try new pasta recipes. And it's something that I
Oh,
try to do once a week. Yeah.
this is a great hobby, and I do it either. I like to try new recipes. Actually, I love to collect recipes. I had a book, but nowadays I use my
Uh-huh.
phone to collect
Right.
some recipes on
Right.
social networks and so
Yeah.
on. And I always try to do the recipes. Every Sunday, I try a new cake recipe, to
There you
be
go.
honest. So, and that's all for the episode. I thank you so much for sharing with us this hour your pieces of advice, your favorite pastimes, and well, your favorite book extracts. I think all of us should read at least once a month. I know some people don't love reading
Reading.
like us, like we do. Yeah, we learn, we travel around the world every day if we read a small extract of a
Yeah.
so, do you have a final message to our listeners before we finish?
I would say to pursue your passions. Don't let society hold you back.
Oh, great. And lastly, KLA's doors are always open to you. Would you come back one day if you could?
Of course. Of course.
I'm so glad to hear that, because when a guest decides to return, it's not the same the same experience. I love to hear from you guys what you are doing after we recorded for the first time.
For sure. For sure. We'll love to come back.
Okay, and that's all. I wish you the best in your future endeavors. Not best of luck, because I always say we wish good luck for those who don't know what they are doing, and you certainly know what you do.
Thank you.
So I wait for you back, and bye.
To think pink is to think for yourself. And Urmi Hossain reminds us that breaking from the herd is not just rebellion, but an act of radical clarity and care. Whether it's how you spend your money, shape your identity, or speak up for others, your power lies in your choice. If this episode sparked something new, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs a reminder that it's okay, even beautiful, to stand alone. This is Decalink Pirate Radio, where we don't just follow the current, we question the tide. If you like this episode, please give us 5 stars, like, share, and subscribe. See you, Lucky Mean.